Welcome to the Human 5.0 Project, the podcast where we cut straight to the breakthroughs that matter, the show where science meets self-optimization. I'm your host, Ultimate Biohacker 10X, and here we break down the real research, real data, and real dosing behind modern biohacking, from compounds and peptides to techniques, devices, lifestyle strategies, and performance protocols. Most people jump in and jump out before they get the gold, so we're keeping it tight and delivering the essential insights you need without the fluff. If you've taken the time to hit play, we'll make sure you walk away with valuable knowledge that can transform your approach to longevity, health optimization, and beyond. Today, the immune system's Swiss Army peptide, and what it plays nice with, or fights with. If most biohacker peptides are marketed like tools, LL-37 is more like a weapon system. Most biohacker peptides chase muscle or hormones. LL-37 chases survival. It's your body's built-in antibiotic, immune signal, and wound healing switch. Powerful when used right, and exactly why it can backfire hard. This is not a supplement. This is an immune alarm with teeth. Today, what LL-37 actually does, where human data actually exists, and the big question, what peptides it tends to synergize with, and what biology it tends to clash with. Let's lock this one in. What's up, team? Welcome back to the Human 5.0 Project. I am Ultimate Biohacker 10X on the mic, straight facts, zero filler, and news as quickly as I can find it for you. Disclaimer, this is educational only, not medical advice. LL-37 is an endogenous human peptide studied in real research, including human clinical trials in topical wound healing. However, outside regulated medical channels, purity and identity are not guaranteed. Also, if you're drug tested, don't assume anything. WADA explicitly prohibits multiple growth and recovery peptide categories, including IGF-1 analogs, MGFs, thymosin beta-4 derivatives like TB500. Always verify your exact substance and category against the current list for your sport. And we're not doing protocols today. We're doing mechanisms, evidence, quality, real risks, and a clean framework for what LL-37 tends to play well with and what it can fight against. Sound cool? Move on. Okay, LL-37 is an active antimicrobial peptide fragment derived from HCAP18, and it's the only human catalysedin identified to date. Where does it show up? Barrier zones, skin, airways, gut surfaces, and immune cells like neutrophils. What it does, in plain English? Number one, it directs antimicrobial action. LL-37 is cationic and amphipathic. This means it likes to bind to negatively charged microbial membranes and destabilize them. That's one reason it's considered a core innate defense molecule. Number two, immune modulation. LL-37 doesn't just kill, it also signals, recruiting and shaping immune responses depending on context. Number three, wound repair support. LL-37 has documented links to wound healing biology, things like reepithelialization and local repair signaling, especially in topical clinical contexts. Here's the key. LL-37 is not a gym peptide. It's not a feel-good peptide. It's a host defense peptide. And host defense systems are designed to be aggressive. This is where we separate science from vibes. The cleanest human evidence lane for LL-37 is topical wound healing, not full-body immune upgrade. If we look at venous leg ulcers, there's a phase 2b randomized placebo-controlled trial evaluating topical LL-37 plus compression therapy in hard-to-heal venous leg ulcers. Diabetic foot ulcers, mild infection, a randomized double-blind controlled trial reported LL-37 cream enhanced healing rate in DFU with mild infection. Translation, LL-37 has real clinical relevance, especially when the problem is local barrier failure and microbial pressure and delayed healing. All right, let's look at what people say they feel and why that's not the same as data. Anecdotes aren't data, but patterns do show up. People talk about LL-37 for lingering infection resilience, skin recovery, wound healing vibes, gut flare narratives, inflammation shifts. But here's your adult filter. If you're not dealing with a real barrier or healing problem, the effect can be subtle, placebo-adjacent, or inconsistent because LL-37 is context-driven. And context includes local chemistry, salt, pH, microbial load, immune baseline, and inflammatory priming. For example, airway research shows pH can modulate LL-37's antimicrobial performance in synergy with defensins, meaning the local environment can make it look strong or weak. Now the part most people skip. So what does it work against? Sometimes it works against you if the immune system is already primed toward autoinflammation. In psoriasis, LL-37 can bind self-DNA and self-RNA from complexes that activate plasmacytoid dendritic cells and TLR pathways, turning a defender into fuel on the fire. That's the lesson. Immune peptides can be double-edged. The same molecule that helps defend and heal can amplify inflammation in the wrong immunologic context. So if you're someone with psoriasis or psoriatic tendencies, unexplained inflammatory flares, immune dysregulation patterns, you treat LL-37 as a higher sensitivity variable, not a casual add-on. Works with versus works against. This is our stacking question and a little bit of risk logic framework. But truly, here's the honest answer. For common biohacker peptides, there's very limited direct human data on intentional stacking with LL-37. So the best way to answer is with a risk logic framework. Works with synergy in biology. This is the best supported concept. LL-37 is designed to operate as part of an innate defense ensemble, not as a lone superhero. There's published evidence showing synergy between LL-37, human beta defensins, and lysozyme against bacteria in vitro. So LL-37 works with other natural host defense factors because that's how innate immunity is built. Then we can look at more compatible, in theory, although this is not a recommendation. Peptides that lean, regenerative, anti-inflammatory, for example, BPC-157, TB-500 in the biohacker world, might conceptually complement a wound healing context, but you don't get to assume synergy without data, and you absolutely don't get to assume purity or identity outside regulated channels. And then we've got more likely to conflict, in theory. Anything that pushes immune activation in someone with psoriasis, unexplained inflammatory flares, or mast cell type reactivity, LL-37 can amplify inflammatory signaling in the wrong setting. So the summary is simple. LL-37 doesn't belong in more stacks. It belongs in more context. Bottom line, LL-37 is one of the most interesting peptides in human biology because it's antimicrobial and immunomodulatory and tied to wound repair. But that power is exactly why it can backfire. It tends to work with other innate antimicrobial systems, like defensins, in the right environment. But it can work against you if your immune system is already primed toward autoinflammation, especially the psoriasis-style LL-37 self-DNA RNA activation pathway. So walk carefully with this peptide and do your research and consult medical professionals. There's a huge upside potential, but we just haven't seen it in the data or any studies yet. Smash subscribe, stay sharp, stay skeptical, and stay immune. This is Ultimate Biohacker 10X, and I am out of here. Thanks for listening to the Human 5.0 Project. If you found value in today's episode, share it with someone who's ready to elevate their biology. Make sure to follow the show for weekly deep dives into peptides, protocols, devices, lifestyle strategies, and the science of high-performance longevity. Until next time, stay curious, stay optimized, and stay 10X.